Geno got his contract restructured. Does it tell us anything about his future with the Seahawks? Here's the good news. We already have some sound from John Schneider. The John Schneider show was yesterday with Wyman and Bob, and so we've got the latest from the GM talking about how this was done.
It's actually part of the negotiation when we do these deals, and it's a trigger that's in there. It's a roster bonus that's converted to signing bonus. So a roster bonus is just a cap, for cap purposes. You could take a roster bonus, and there's language in the contract, we convert it to a signing bonus, and then it's spread out over the duration of the contract. So that creates more capital for us. We did this, big, negotiation to convert roster bonus to signing bonus. Matt Thomas does a really nice job of working that in as an option for us throughout the process so that at any given time, if we feel the need, we can move that into signing bonus and create more capital.
Curtis, answer with just your gut instinct and gut reaction to this question. Was this a financial decision or a vote of confidence?
I think it was a financial decision because at no point yesterday did John Schneider, kind of end all doubt and be like, yep, Geno's our guy. Like there was never any doubt that we were going to bring him back or anything like that. And to John Schneider's credit, what good would it be for him if he did cut off sort of those lines of communication with other teams that are, looking for a quarterback and saying, hey, we can offer you a second-round pick for Geno. We can offer you a first-round pick for Geno Smith. Schneider would have to entertain those conversations. He would be failing at his job if he did not do that. We didn't know what the salary cap was going to be for 2024 yesterday when this interview happened, and this move freed up a few $1 million in cap space. So because of that, the Seahawks were able to, I think, get under the salary cap just by the tiniest of margins before today, learning that they were going to have $13 extra million to work with because of a salary cap explosion. But yeah, yesterday, Schneider, I didn't get really settled by anything that he had to say on Geno and the restructure of his contract. Do I think Geno's back in 2024? Yes, I do. And I think he's deserving of the starting job because I look at the quarterback market right now, Stacey, and it's Kirk Cousins.
Russell Wilson, assuming that he gets released by the Broncos.
Yeah, and Russ has not been.
And look, you're not reuniting with Russell Wilson. I threw him out there because technically I think he'll be available, but there is no Russell Wilson reunion in Seattle. Kirk Cousins is going to be far too expensive with far too many bidders. He is going to be the number 2 pursued free agent outside of Chris Jones.
And you don't have the draft picks at your disposal to really trade up and draft one of Caleb Williams, Drake May, or Jaden Daniels.
Unless you do future picks.
Yeah. But then
I don't know
we've seen here, especially with the Jamal Adams trade, how future picks can really come back to bite you because one of those picks that the Seahawks gave the Jets turned out to be, I think, the number 9 overall pick, Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, it's I say this not to intentionally muddy the waters, or kind of be what's going to happen? We don't know. I say it because I think that a fair reading of this is that it was a financial decision, that it makes things financially easier for the Seahawks. For Geno to get that money up front, it effectively creates a 1-year deal. And also because I still don't know that I personally, me, Stacey, not GM of the Seahawks, not head coach of the Seahawks, think that Geno Smith is their best option for 2024, though I would love to see them, whether this season, somewhat soon, take a young quarterback because given that Geno's 33, I just think that that's naturally where you start to look. But I think that you're right. That's not John Schneider. John Schneider's job is not necessarily to publicly say, Geno is our guy and we're so excited for him. Maybe if they, if you have a guy that you very clearly are invested in, you need to make a public statement. But he's in a place where he needs to keep all those options open, like you said.
Yeah.
And, privately he might think, Geno's great. We feel comfortable for Geno for 2024. This is fantastic. We were going to pay this $9 million anyways. Let's get some wiggle room. That's certainly something that could be going on. But I think it's important to just kind of clarify, hey, here's what it means to us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can read into it what you will, but here's some additional context for what all of that money stuff meant yesterday.
Yeah, and Schneider's always been a guy that's played his cards close to the vest. And Pete, when he was here, was a guy that was a lot more public in his support with guys. Schneider, I can't recall ever grabbing the mic and being like, this is our guy. Like, I don't recall a time where Schneider has, stood on the soapbox and been like, this is my guy through thick and thin.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Pete did that all the time. He did that with Geno. He did that with Russ. He did that with, all sorts of other players. Like, I'm not going to give up on these guys. And just seeing kind of how the dynamic is was between Schneider and Carroll. I think they were such a good balance for each other, where Schneider wasn't as vocal about things.
Yeah,
as
they have
Pete is.
naturally different roles and responsibilities.
Whereas now I think McDonald's a lot more reserved than Pete is. So I don't know if we're going to see those moments of head coach or president of football operations kind of put their neck out there for one guy or another.